Um, I'm the chief training officer. Basically, I'm the founder, the president, but I like chief training officer because I'm learning, and at the same time, like they say, I'm constantly coming up with ideas, and that's one of our projects. It's called Ideas, because there's so much to do. As members come into the organization with certain types of personalities, we have to adjust to those. We have to create for those. We have to do a lot of different things. And one of the things, security, I started off as an in-house San Francisco Special Police Officer. I was sworn in by the City and County of San Francisco under Chief Gaines as in-house Special Police Officer, working for a hotel on Nob Hill. And I met other guys who were specials. And we wanted to create something unique and different to support us as a fraternal organization. You know, and those things were housing, support in many different directions. But as those people, at 27 years old, and those people were my age then, I learned from them some things, and then I was learning myself, being 27, or like a little kid. And so from there, we created different types of situations. And as new members came in, we added more projects and more departments so that everyone could have hands-on in the organization's growth. It's not just my ideas, but it's the membership's ideas in terms of where do we go from here. 39 years, it was like just yesterday when we started.
I understand that. Time
You know,
passes very quickly.
Very quickly. But one of the things that happened, like SP Neal, SPs came in over the last maybe 5 or 10 years because special projects needed a special person to create that into something viable, something that could really work for the organization. One of the things that we knew that we couldn't keep going out buying uniforms, equipment, and other things on the salary that we make doing security as a whole.
That makes sense.
And so why not create our own business, okay, so the money could come back into the organization. Security is a business that could create our funding source, okay? So as we created more and more tours of duty jobs, we were able to find ways to use that money to build an organization that branched out all through the organization. Since its existence, there are a lot of people that didn't have places to stay. You may not know how many people who do security have to ride bus all night long because they have no place to go.
So I have to stop you for a second because there's a couple of things that have come across that I know that I didn't understand when I first met you. And please, anybody trying to, members, practitioners, tours of duty, special projects. All of these are terms that you use freely, but I'm not sure that I always understand. And I really would like our audience to understand what is a member, what is a practitioner, how do you come into the organization? Do you come in as a member, as a practitioner? And then what is this tour of duty? And what is training? What are you training to do?
I would take practitioner. Practitioner, we're always in training.
Okay.
We're practicing every day. We're never set in one spot. We're practicing and training daily.
Okay.
We're learning something new every day. So we're open to everything to learn. Yes, that's the word for practitioner. We're open.
Okay.
Yes.
Open to learning.
Right. It's not a job description. We're learning.
Okay.
When you're involved with security, you're learning. Different tours of duty have different elements, have different guidelines. We are learning every day.
Okay.
Okay, tours of duty. And I want to break away just for a second. We also have a 15-passenger van that we've changed and added to and so forth, because some people may not want to do security, but they might want to drive. So now we have a training operations, that kind of situation for drivers. We have other areas. SP Neal is training as a quartermaster. That means he's in charge of our store. So he's learning how to run a store as a business.
Okay.
So a tour of duty is
Okay.
anything that you can say, I take that tour. It's also a military term. Being part of us has been in the military. It's a tour of duty.
Okay. So a tour of duty then are projects that I could
Yes.
decide to train in.
Yes.
So if I want to train in a project of becoming a security officer, because I like policing, I like helping people, I like protecting people, I can do that as a tour of duty.
Right.
If I want to drive a passenger van, for
Right.
15 passenger van, and do tour guides or tour subjects
Anything,
or
yes.
tour events, I can train on how to drive that van.
Yes.
And how to treat people that come on the van, how to get them to events, how to get
Off
them
and
back
on.
from events, off and on.
Mhm.
Okay, and then you have a store. And that
Yes.
store is available to me to do what? To train on as a clerk in the store or train how to develop merchandise for a store? What is that store about?
SP Neal.
I can say that, Ms. Williams.
Okay.
You know, I'm trained as the quartermaster, and the quartermaster has, like the deputy chief said, we have practitioners. I'm a practitioner. It's just that practitioner, I'm always be a practitioner because I'm constantly training, and it's practitioner SP Neal. What the quartermaster does is that as the practitioners begin to train, and tours of duty also are various different location sites that we have pop sheets that come up through our administration office from our deputy chief that needs 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 practitioners, depending on the call. And so my duty is, after the practitioner is trained 30, sometimes a couple of weeks, 30 to 90 days or so, or whatever. It's up individual basis. Your consistency, you're showing up to the meetings, your participation, your willingness, and also your presence and your demeanor. It has a lot to do with it also.
And communication.
And communication is big. I came from
Yes.
communications because
Yes.
communication is big. But my duty is to get the practitioner the uniform, which will be, we have a standard issue, which is white and black, the cargo pants, and also this is the Class A, which is tan and blue, as you see. And we also have a prestige suit that is a black suit with the gold buttons. You may see me in that one time or two before it's over. And that's for that. That's just for equipment. Most of the guys that come in, they have their own shoes already, or some of them may have their guard cards and previously have security skills, but are available on their downtime. And so with those practitioners, what happens with them, with those gentlemen or women, what happens with that is they come in, they still fall up under the 10A project. You know, so they don't get no special uplifts, no special privileges. But we make it clear to them, I make it clear to them that you still got to follow up on the guidelines of the 10A project, and this is what we must stay in compliance and follow through with.
Okay, I saw something on one of your flyers about a certain set of principles. There was spirituality, there was humility, there was honesty, there was
Trust.
some list of principles. I also read on your flyer, and just reading about the history, that really people can come into the organization, I said it
Yeah,
correctly.
thank you.
They can come into the organization and they can have felonies. And they can, in fact, come in and say, look, similar to your story, SP Neal.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to change my life. I need new direction. And I don't necessarily have all the qualifications to be on special project as a security officer. I don't have all of the necessary qualifications to run a store, nor to drive a 15-passenger van. But what you're saying is this is a training organization. This is the ability to take you no matter where you are in life. And you walk in our door, and we help you do what? We help you train to do what?
Judge ye not lest ye be judged, to start off with. So whatever you've done in the past and you want to change, we can work with you. The spiritual aspects of it is to give you some uplift. And we say spiritual, not religious, because, you know, that's what that is. But let me go back to some time ago, 25 plus years ago. And we had a new contract that we hadn't started. We just were given the contract. And we had a week before we started or whatever. This lady came up. She was a grandmother. And she said, please don't arrest my son anymore. We hadn't even started the tour of duty. And back then it kind of, okay, security, what does that really mean? Does it mean going out being forceful and so forth? Or do we find new ways of working with those people to give them new direction? Low educational skills, low esteem, and these kind of things. We base it on a military basis so that, like when I went into the Marine Corps, you know, they stripped you of everything and you started anew. So that's what we want to do here. If you're willing to and start anew and you can train with us, that doesn't mean you're going to go right out on a job or a training site, because we're also responsible to our clients to know something about them. That's why we have social events. And so we know the round person. And plus that if we do the person as a whole and they're having issues, you know, we have people who are going through a lot of different changes. We've had people who've changed transgender. With all these different things have happened. And that's the reason we have It's a Family Affair.
So let's talk about that for a minute. It's a family affair. It was developed for what reason? What purpose was It's a Family Affair? So for all of the viewers, It's a Family Affair is a separate nonprofit from the Special Police Officers Association.
Well, when we first started, it was our community affairs division within SPOA. But being special police, you know, maybe even a little bit macho, you know, when we start getting certain types of people in, some people, well, no, we don't want that or whatever that happens to be. But if you're a member, that should go over everything else.
Across all the lines.
All the lines.
Cultural lines, sexual preference
all that,
lines,
right.
all of those
Yes.
lines.
So that's the reason we call
So-
It's a Family Affair the Multicultural Alliance
Okay.
for Ethnic Unity.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to stop you for a second because I really am interested in the finances. Because now we're talking about a nonprofit, we're talking about two nonprofits, and we're talking about 39 years.
Yes.
So, on face value, I would say you must have a strong fiscal foundation because you've been around so long, so you know the ins and outs of what it requires
Yes, I do.
to sustain an organization like this.
Yes, I do.
So let's talk, because, you know, I think that there's a misperception of nonprofits that have been around for a long time, that they should have it all together. They should be very stable.
Of course not.
They should be very strong.
Of course not.
And they should know all the ins and outs of how to get the money and where the money is.
Right.
And have their donors lined up. Well, after all, you've helped all of these people. Why don't you have your donors lined up?
Yes.
So now I'm speaking like someone who's looking from the outside in. But in reality, there's a real need
Yes, there is.
because the world is changing and you're changing with the world.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes.
funders are changing and you have to change
Absolutely.
with the funders.
Absolutely.
And donors who could support you at one time may not be
Right.
capable of supporting you
Right.
now.
Their goals and objectives are different.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the financial state of both of these nonprofits and what do you need from our viewing audience
Money.
to help support
funds,
you?
Yes.
Donors, people
Donors,
who
yes.
realize
Yes.
that there are people who are actually being saved,
Yes.
who are actually changing their lives,
Yes.
that had felonies, that were in
Yes.
prison, that are
Yes.
VA vets that have been
Yes.
on the street,
Yeah.
that are homeless,
That's
that
right.
are now looking for a new way, and you're changing lives,
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
changing communities.
Yes.
You need support.
Yes.
So let's talk about
we
where
t-
you are financially.
We totally need support. One of the things that we do is we reach out into the community for resources. Okay, one of the resources that we have is that we do a guard card test the last Thursday of every month, which is tomorrow. We have a guard card test. We're able to have other organizations to pay for individuals to take the guard card test now. The guard card test is $170. Okay, if you have no misdemeanor, the process is 4 to 6 weeks. If you have a felony or a misdemeanor, the process is 6 to 12 weeks. If you are denied, you will go to Sacramento, BSIS, Bureau of Security Investigative Services. You will do an appeal process. The appeal process, you walk in with 10 to 12 letters to say that you turned your life around. We have had A
10 to
7
12, I'm sorry, 10 to 12 letters of support?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. To say that you've turned your life around.
Mm-hmm.
We've had it's